everyone! Today we're going to be talking about my November favorites, and I'm going to kick this off with an unfortunate discovery which has resulted in a favorite. I say that, but I think we're all pretty much aware that I love the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows. I think these are phenomenal and one of the easiest glitter products to apply to your eye because they're liquid, they're smooth, they're super pigmented, and they just go on so easily. You don't need any glitter glue, you don't need any kind of liquid adhesive, it just goes on gorgeously. However, I have come to discover that these suckers dry up and I'm so frustrated because they're super expensive. I mean, one of these is 31 Canadian and I've got like more than 10 at this point. So that's a lot of money invested into these shadows. Now, I've gotten some of them from PR, so I haven't necessarily spent all of my money on these, but I have purchased a lot of these over the years. And to discover that they dry up is really infuriating. So I think within the last 3 months, I've noticed that 2 of mine have just dried up. Like it's chunky, it's no longer fluid on the inside. So I noticed Diamond Dust just recently kicked the bucket. That thing is like a clumpy mess right now. That one was my favorite too. And I think it was Kitten Karma that also dried up. It might have been Rose Gold Retro, but one of those two. And those were only 12 months old. One of them might have been 13 or 14 months old, but they certainly weren't that old. And while I realize that makeup products have an expiration date, no one is throwing out their $30 glitter after 12 months because products tend to last long past a year. So it's really frustrating to discover that the liquid is just disappearing. And I have tried to resuscitate these too, by the way. I tried pouring some of my Inglot Duraline into one of them and it did nothing. Like the glitter absorbed the liquid and then it just stayed chunky and dry, which was very bizarre. But I can't justify spending that much money on a product that's gonna dry up within 12 months because while I use these quite a bit, I'm not using them weekly, and if they're gonna dry up before I've even gone like 20% of the way through the tube, that's too much money to spend on a product. So that's a word of warning in case you're buying these. I would not encourage you to pick up the full size. Get the minis if you're gonna be buying these. But of course, because now I've realized that my products are drying up, I've been using them constantly. So of course I'm falling back in love with them, but I don't encourage you to go out and buy the full size, that's for sure. So the one I've been loving the most recently is Smokey Storm. And when I first got this, I was like, you're so boring. Because it's more of a kind of gold beige champagne shade. It's nothing that I would find particularly enticing because I like something a little bit more flamboyant. But this shade is gorgeous, as all glitter is, and it's very versatile too. So while there looks like there's more brown sort of golden warm shades in here, there's actually a ton of silver that appears when you put it on the eye. So it does pair well with warm toned looks and cool toned looks. So it works with both, and this one is super pigmented, so you don't necessarily need to put anything underneath it if you're going to be applying it straight on the lid. I just buff something onto the outer corner of my eye, pull that color through my crease, usually a brown, and then I'll put this all over the lid. I've been doing this a bit more recently because I've started to run out of time in the mornings. I don't know where the time is disappearing all of a sudden, but this is a really quick eyeshadow look and I absolutely do wear glitter to work. So it's nothing weird for me to show up with a super sparkly eye, but I really like it. But I'm just really sad that they apparently dry up within a year of use. So just something to be aware of in case you've been picking these up. The next product is one that you probably just saw me haul in my November monthly haul video, but I've been using it since I picked it up probably during the middle of the month, and that's the Bodyshop's Shimmer Mist in Peppermint Candy Cane. This is so lovely. One thing I do need to point out though is that the shimmer in here, which you can kind of see swirling around, is not actually transferring that much to the skin. I've got it sprayed on me now and I can't see it. So the shimmer is super fine, not that obvious, which makes me a little bit sad because I really do like shimmer and glitter sprays. I want that to show up on my body. And I feel like the Body Shop Shimmer Mist used to actually really show up on the skin, but I think they've made the mist a little bit finer this time because the shimmer is definitely not translating. However, the scent on this is so nice. It's kind of like vanilla and candy canes and peppermint all rolled into one, and it's actually really long wearing. I can put this on at 7 a.m. in the morning before I'm going to work and it will still be there by the end of the day. Even when I go to bed at night, if I sniff my arm, I can definitely still smell the scent. And I find that really impressive because this is more of like a body spray, right? It's not a perfume per se, but the longevity of it is really, really good. So if you're looking for a good candy cane scent that's gonna last all day, definitely check out this one by the Body Shop. They do have a whole bunch of products in this peppermint candy cane scent, but I like the smell of it on the shimmer mist more. The body butter smelled a little bit different to me, but it was also the tester, so I don't know if it's just been out for a while. Anyway, really enjoying this scent in the shimmer mist. I have two lip products to talk about, and they're definitely on the more nude, natural, softer side of things for me. And this was mostly spurred on by a comment that Sam made on my makeup one day. And I had really bright, vibrant eyes, and for whatever reason I decided to opt for a nude lip, which is not something I tend to do because I've got a lot of bright lipstick in my collection and a lot of bright eyeshadow, so I end up usually pairing the two together because I just want to wear all the colors. But of course, if you're wearing bright lips and bright eyes, your features are kind of competing against each other. And Sam had just said, you know, like your eyes really stand out when you wear that nude lip. And I was like, huh, you're right. So one of the colors that I've been gravitating towards the most this past month has been Suva Beauty's Moisture Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Awakening. And this is pretty close to my skin tone. I would say it's a little bit more peach pink, I guess. And I've been pairing this with a lot of cool tone like blues and greens on my eyes because I feel like there's a little bit of a cooler edge to this. There's no purple really in it. I just don't feel like there's a lot of warmth to the color, so I feel like it does pair with cooler eyeshadows better. And she's right, this does really bring out my eyes when I'm wearing this and I'm wearing bright eyeshadow. So I've been really enjoying this color, and it's not something that I would necessarily gravitate towards just because, like, look at it, it's not that interesting. I'm not a nude lipstick wearer in general, but it really does work to like enhance the vibrancy of eyeshadow when I have something super bright on. So I've been really enjoying this, and the Suva Beauty Moisture Matte Liquid Lipsticks are a more comfortable formula of liquid lipstick. They don't have that super dry paint feeling on your lips that I can't stand. I hate that feeling. They're a little bit more malleable, but because you're getting a little bit more movement and give on a liquid lipstick, they aren't completely transfer proof. They're pretty good for the most part, don't get me wrong, but you will get a little bit like on your coffee cup or your food if you're eating. But for the most part, this is very easy to wear and it's not uncomfortable. Plus, I mean, the color makes it easy too, right? Because it's close to my skin tone, I don't have to be worried about it kind of like going everywhere, because if it smudges a little bit, it's not that obvious. So I've really enjoyed Awakening. And the other color that I've been using that's a little bit more vibrant, but is definitely on the more muted side of things, is Too Faced Melted Matte in the Pumpkin Spice shade. Now this is from their miniature set in, it's for Christmas, what was it called? The Sweet Smell of Christmas, that's what it was. So there was 4 of the minis in there, which is really nice because at this point in my life, I do not need a full-size lipstick at all. So I'm more than happy to get a mini. But the sad thing is that you can only get this color in that scent. Maybe at some point they'll release it as a full size because I know these products did very well. But for now, you can only get it in the minis. So the Pumpkin Spice Melted Matte is more of a softer, more nude version of an orange. So I've been pairing this with a lot of more like red and orange and gold eyeshadow looks as sort of like a more muted lip for those eyeshadow colors. So I've been pairing the Pumpkin Spice Melted Matte a lot with my next favorite, which is the Suva Beauty Saffron palette. This thing is incredible. Now I did recently post a full palette review video on this with like swatches and 5 looks and a discussion on the shadows, and sadly Suva Beauty is not that well known, so not that many people clicked on that video, but I would encourage you to go check it out if you're interested in these colors because the quality is phenomenal. Like, I have so many good things to say about this palette that I often feel at a loss for words because there's just nothing wrong with it. I mean, so what's drawing me to this palette in particular is the fact that there's 2 red shades that are really very me. I love wearing red eyeshadow on the eyes. And this cinnamon color I know tends to look a little bit more brown in the pan, but it does go on the eyes quite red. So you've got 2 reds here that are mattes. You've got another one here that's a little bit more on the shimmery copper side of things. You've also got a purple, a deep brown matte, this unreal bronze shade. I thought this was going to be the most boring color in this pan, and it's incredible. I put it on the lid and I think I gasped actually. I was just like, this is incredible. So you've got a gorgeous gold here as well, and then two more like bone cream colors to round it out. One's shimmery and the other one is more of a satin color. This one has actually some gold in it as well. There is nothing wrong with this palette as far as I'm concerned. There is no shade in here that doesn't work. There's no oddball color that you feel like doesn't mesh with the rest of the colors. None of these suffer from pigmentation issues, blendability problems. They are all flawless. And the combination of all of these together in this 9-pan palette is probably one of the best creations that I've seen in 2018. I am so drawn to this color combination, and the fact that the shadows actually work just as good as they look too is so wonderful. I'm just so pleased that Suva Beauty has brought out this palette, because when I first saw it previewed, I was super interested in the color scheme. And I mean, even the palette packaging itself, like it looks like what the inside is, which I really appreciate. But the whole package together is so worth it, and it's not even that expensive. This is 42 Canadian, I believe, or 35 US, which is great. So yeah, super in love with the Suva Beauty Saffron palette, and I really hope other people go check them out, because this deserves more recognition just because it's so wonderful. Okay, so that's gonna be it for my November favorites, but I'm just gonna mention a little bit about how I'm gonna be handling 2018 favorites. Somebody mentioned in my comments section of some video that they'd like to see me do a palette favorites for 2018, and I thought that was really interesting. In previous years, I've just kind of wrapped everything into one video, which was fine, but I mean, I really like talking about eyeshadow palettes, and there's definitely been a lot that I've been loving in this last year, so I think I'm gonna separate out the palettes and do a favorite palettes of 2018 video, and then just kind of throw the rest of like the makeup and any kind of skincare into another favorites video. So I'm gonna have two favorites for 2018, and those will be coming up in December. I don't like publishing them in January just because I want to start fresh and move on to the new year. So if you're looking forward to those, you'll be seeing those in December, and I think that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!